This will be in
Oh,
record.
shall I give a short introduction or? Yeah. Okay. So hello everyone and thank you for coming. Today is lecture 36 conducted by Oleg Bazhenov. And topic of today's lecture is shooting landscapes and surroundings, a special mode of vision and feedback from nature. So this was my short introduction and now I can give the floor to Oleg.
Okay. Let's start. I would like to welcome everyone and thank you all for participating in my course. The name of this course is Healing Photography. And today we're gonna talk about photography as a way of changing perception of ourselves and objects around us. And it's also about the way of increasing our personal light ability and improving our informational light structure. During this course, we're gonna learn to influence the world around us in this certain way. So the world will open its invisible parts to us. We're gonna learn to enter a special state of visual ability to recognize things we did not notice before. And of course, we're gonna learn how we can express that special vision through photographs. We will bring up the feeling and atmosphere of the place we're shooting. We will try to fill our shots up with impression that could move our viewer and delight him. And last lecture, we discussed general principles of healing photography. That through photography, we can do amazing discoveries. We can start very interesting process of understanding our light structure. And today, we will talk about genre in photography that's easily reachable and affordable for anyone. It's shooting nature. Not only nature, architecture, landscapes, or any environment you're in at a moment. It may seem like an easy thing to do, but as you all know, it's a lot of work. Probably you have tried to photograph nature, surroundings, places you have been to, so you could share with others what you have seen. When smartphones broadly came to our life, taking digital photos became one of the most common human activities. But as Dieter Wanschaft wrote in his letter to me, for an average person, to take a great photo is like to win a lottery. So, what's going on? Newer digital cameras give you high resolution, good quality photographs. Even smartphones do now. These cameras have automatic modes, doing all the necessary adjustments automatically. It does light metering, sets the correct aperture, shutter speed, and it autofocuses on the specific object you have need to focus. Instantly, your camera, a modern camera, is ready to shoot. And all you need to do is point it and press the button. So Photoshop and other photo editing platforms allow you to process your images with one click. Everybody likes Instagram and stuff like that. You get desired color or effect with filters. You know, about 15 years ago, when I started to photograph, we could not even dream of such a perfect tool. Why right now we still struggle to take a good photograph? Why most people still consider it as luck? I think one of the reasons being is that from technical point of view, for the camera is just a tool, just an instrument. Of course, you should know how to use this tool. And today we will talk about the basics of photography, of camera parameters and stuff like that. But even when we learn to use the camera, understand how to work with light, and buy the best equipment, we will only to be able to capture the form of the object, but not the essence of it. But our goal, healing photography goal, is to fill the frame with essence and meaning. Another word is to create deep and informative image with beautiful lighting, of course. That's when your photo becomes interesting. Not just beautiful, but interesting. The meaning of the photograph you created might find response in someone. I believe that beauty is rather a meaning than a shape. More precisely, it is a meaning expressed in a shape. So, what should we start with? Let's start with learning to recognize meaning and structure in what we are shooting. To do so, we need to pay a little more attention to what we are shooting. We take most of the photographs just spontaneously. We do it when we are on the way somewhere or in the middle of something. It's unlikely for us to devote more attention to this process. But if we want to take a special photograph, we should at least concentrate a bit and dedicate to it, let's say 10 minutes. We should just view this place with a clear mind. Look at it from all angles. Observe it precisely. For example, I really like Chinese traditions. Chinese do everything through a ceremony. In other words, they fully concentrate on what they do. Concentrating on what you do at this moment is the first step to so-called entering the mode of vision. A while ago, I listened a lecture on Chinese painting. And I'd like to tell you one story I remember from that lecture. It's about an artist who drew a tree. Before he started drawing, he sat down near the tree and concentrated on it, ignoring everything else. And he could spend entire day just staring at the tree. Eventually, he got to the point he merged with the object into one. He kind of lived through it, following every motion. He almost turned into that tree. And only after that kind of preparation, he could start. And he drew it in just a few minutes. I remember that work. It's a simple picture drawn with black ink, but it was so great. I discovered something new that day. Let me show you a picture familiar with this picture that I saw. It's just something like that. It was drawn in just a few minutes, but after spending all day watching this tree, staring at the tree. So, to feel the atmosphere of a place, to see its beauty, is the first and probably the most necessary and important stage. And only after that, we begin to learn how to bring up the atmosphere in pictures. I have received a wonderful letter from a participant of our course, Dieter Weinschaft, and he was so right by saying that most of the photographs of nature are synthetic because it doesn't express the atmosphere. And to feel, understand, and see the true beauty of a place, it is necessary to spend some time there. But I believe that if we follow the ancient Chinese approach with our photography, we will at least partly succeed in expressing our feelings to the viewer through the photograph. Of course, it takes a lot of practice. So, when you are going to take a picture of a place, take your time and observe it. Look at this place closely. See how the light and reflections are spreading across it. Trace all its movements. Inhale its smell. Feel its atmosphere. For example, I show you one picture. One moment, please. For example, to take this picture, I sat near this lake almost all day long. The clouds were floating across the sky. The lighting was constantly changing. A strong wind was blowing, and ripples on the surface didn't let me look into the water and see its clarity. And the longer I sat, the calmer and stronger I felt. I started to feel as if I was communicating with this place. At one point, I kind of thanked the spirit of this place for my wonderful sensation. And suddenly, just for a moment, just for 1 minute, the wind disappeared and the sun came out of the clouds. And I saw this picture, saw it and take this picture. So if you have a time to tune yourself to a place you're shooting, you will get its energy and information, but not only for yourself, but you can also deliver your information to the nature. You simply need to ask this place to open. And one day it will surely respond. After all, even though the landscape seems to be invariable, in fact, if you spend enough time observing it, you will be able to see completely different pictures. For example, I lived in Altai for 2 years. Altai is a beautiful mountain country near China border, and that, let me show you. That's the view from the window of my terrace. And now I will show you a series of photos taken from the same window at different times. Look at this. It's just from the same window. It's very, very different pictures, isn't it? Just from one window. And this too, it's moon. I call this picture Moon Monster. I just have to waiting, have to feel. Okay, it's just from one window. Or, for example, I somehow came to the beach and set out to photograph something unusual, some interesting setup. Sea was right in front of me. I saw the ship and the big dark clouds that were covering the sun. I did a couple of shots and it came up very dull. I show you some pictures that I take after my exercise. By the way, at the same period, I was practicing work with the translators technology. That's why I had bracelets and 2 cards with structures on me at the time I was on the beach. I think it's also played its role. I sat down right next to the sea, put the camera next to me, threw everything out of my head, and plunged into communication with the sea. There's tremendous amount of energy concentrated in the sea. After a while, I felt that I got into a very powerful and deep condition. And at that moment, miracle happened. clouds was so dark. Suddenly, just above the ship, clouds cleared up a bit and sunlight came through. There's two spaces or two holes in the sky seem like heaven eyes. As sun rays are coming through with perfect lighting, it looked very expressive. God keeps an eye on lonely ship in the middle of the sea, and the rest of the sea is in gloom. It was beautiful. And the main secret of healing photography is that by gaining a stronger and deeper state of being with the help of forces of nature, we can reshape space and object. We can get in touch with the surrounding. And if there is enough light in us, enough concentrating, then space itself will start working with us and creating with us. There is another picture from that beach. I was waiting and I shot the sun into a ship. It's not about reflecting what you see, but it's about creating something unique that no one else has ever seen before you on the same place. Catch the unique moments of life, moments you were a part of, moments you created with nature, moment you could miss. So nature is a very powerful accelerator for emotional state you're in. The state that allows you to see the surrounding more deeply and interact with it. That state requires very delicate concentration and adjustments. That's why it's really not easy to get into that emotional state. After all, in our everyday life, everyday city life, we are affected by a huge amount of interferences. Electromagnetic smoke, the condition of people around, our worries, experience, stress, all this are quite strong and raw influences. All this bothers us and disharmonizes emotional state we're in. And eventually your perception may get router. It simply depends on the mood you're in and the way things grab you. Either you see beauty in the same place or you see ugliness, just because of your state. But the mode of a deeper vision requires silence, concentration, and energy. Even in a small degree. And that's why landscape photography is ideal for getting yourself in such special emotional state. Even the city park will help to calm and awaken you. Here is another example. In St. Petersburg, the city I grew up, a place where I felt free and powerful was any roof of any building could get into. And spending quite a long time on the roof may be a great escape from the vanity and stress of the big city. Let me show you some photos from a roof. You may get a lot of inspiration and enter the state of vision we just discussed. You can notice a bunch of wonderful objects and meanings. At one time, me and a girl I knew went up on a roof to spend time and take some pictures. That's one of the pictures from that photo session. It was a beautiful summer day. We were in love and we got some great shots like this. And at the very end of the shooting, birds gathered suddenly. And looking through my camera, I thought, wouldn't it be wonderful if all those birds fit in the frame? And I had to wait just a minute. And I took this photo. So we are not just looking at things around us. We influence what we are looking at. We can influence people we're observing or situations on the street and even nature. I don't know if you're familiar with Masaru Emoto and his meditations on moving clouds or the influencing water by certain meanings. If you don't know it, see it, Masaru Emoto. It's beautiful experiments. As good example, look at magnetic compass needle. For magnetic field of the Earth to turn the magnetic needle of the compass towards the north, it is located on a thin needle. Why? Because we must bring friction to a minimum. So the strength of the Earth's magnetic field will be enough to move it. But if we lay the arrow just on a table where the friction is much greater, you know, it will not respond. Same way, we should hover in space, get lightness and strength, and then the energy of the place will easily point us in the right direction. So let me show you some photos of the nature I took. I hope you feel atmosphere of these places. It was in a mountain, 2,000 meters, and at the Black Sea. It's my city, St. Petersburg. It's Alta, it's a beautiful picture. I love it. It was just 1 minute. This light was just 1 minute. And all I need is wait this moment. Concentrate on it. It's Altai to wonderful place. So the nature shows its beauty for just few minutes, and you have to catch it. You have to concentrate. You have to wait. And it's very important. It's your state. You have. And nature gives you a lot of energy for your states. So the perfect state for healing photography is, of course, love. It's my wife. And my love to her allows me to take this picture. It's my beautiful city, St. Petersburg. This is the Hermitage, the main museum of my city. and Neva River. St. Petersburg too, from 25 station. It was beautiful night. And during these pictures, during taking these pictures, I have been very special states, very special feelings. This is the very special place in Altai called Shulshman River. It's very, very beautiful place, and very strange place that gives you a lot of energy. Okay. Also, today I will tell you about the basic technical principles of photography. Okay? Stop sharing. One moment, please. So that you can start your practice of working with the camera, I will tell you about the basic technical principles for the camera today. And the next lecture, which will be about shooting people, I'll talk about the basic principles of using natural lighting as well as lighting equipment. But today I will talk about the parameters of the camera, the basic parameters. So first, let's briefly dwell on the main parameters of the camera. They really are not many. And most cameras, especially telephones, adjust these parameters automatically, depending on lighting. But it will still be useful for us to find out. So, the main parameters of the camera are shutter speed, aperture, ISO sensitivity, and color temperature or white balance. Shutter speed is a very simple thing. This is time during which the light hits the film or matrix. The higher this value, the lighter the frame will be. In daylight, this is a fraction of seconds, just a fraction of seconds. At night, it's maybe a few seconds, 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 30 seconds. At night, with such parameters, it is better, of course, to shoot from a tripod. But for night shooting, there is certain ISO parameters. With ISO, for example, 1600 or 6500, you can shoot without a tripod, directly from your hands using fast shutter speeds. Now, what is a color temperature or white balance? By changing this parameter, we can, for example, turn light of a room, which is yellow, into a daylight, which is white. Or make a warmer light from a cold fluorescent lamp, for example. Very simple thing. As far as aperture setting, it is important on cameras with interchangeable lenses, big lenses. By changing this parameter of aperture, we can, for example, blur the background behind the object, making the object sharply in focus or vice versa. It's very simple, but these are only instrument of photography, all these parameters. There are no constant parameters or rules for night shooting or indoor shooting or any shooting. It's like notes in music. There are only 7 of them, and there are unlimited amount of variation and melodies. Try, just try. The easiest way to understand how the combination of all these parameters work is to take a photo and look at it at the screen in the back of your camera. See how it came out. I learned just like that. You don't have to worry about 36 frames or film roll. You have plenty. Sometimes spontaneously changing these parameters, you can get very interesting lighting. And if you do not really want to go into all this, then enjoy any modern camera with automatic mode in which all the settings are automatically configured. So all you need is to take care of creative part. After all, in healing photography, the most important are the states and meanings, influences, and impressions. So thank you very much. It's all on today. If you have any questions, I would like to ask you, email me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Oleg.
Thank you very much. Good luck, good luck, good luck. Good luck to take a beautiful pictures and beautiful states.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.